Morning, my friends. Welcome back to One Sober to Another. It's been a minute since I did a video, probably 2 weeks. So I thought, where else to do a video other than, I don't know, a castle? You may not have seen any castles in your lifetime, and now is your opportunity to check one out with me. We're at the Lichtenberg Castle in Germany, and this place was constructed in 1200. We're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about why I love waking up sober, and we're going to talk about why I can't worry about the small things in life like I used to. You ready to go? Long intro, let's get it. In the short video that I shot this morning, we were talking about how, I used to wake up, and every morning that I woke up, I had to scrape myself off the sidewalk. I had to scrape myself off a bus stop. I had to pick myself off a sofa. I had to wake up to stale beer. I had to wake up to, a bunch of regret, shame, and guilt about the things that I did the night before. And honestly, none of it was intentional, but it was all self-induced. And if you know what I'm talking about already, drop your comment below so somebody can get some of that. We're going to pass some people here in a few moments. Don't pay them any mind. I'm sure they're not paying me any mind. I used to tie one on every single night when I got home from work, and it never ended anywhere positive. As a matter of fact, it would lead to a lot of unnecessary chaos and self-induced pain that, I could have avoided simply by not popping the top on a beer bottle. Well, I popped the top on many beer bottles, and the result was always catastrophic for me. And so I had to worry about everything that I did the night before, like I just said. And having to panic attack like every single day, and having to go through that Rolodex of why it happened or how did I get here again, just got really old. And, the alcoholic in me was like, just drink over it and it'll go away again. But that was never an answer that made sense. But being the drinker that I was, and already like knee deep in my alcoholism, it seemed like the only sensible answer. Drink it and it's gone again. So that's what I did. Now I'm walking around here, and you will get a unique view that you might not normally see. And the reason I'm here is because if I wasn't sober today, there'd be no way I'd be awake right now and shooting this for you. And then next, I missed out on a lot in my drinking history. I missed out on all the small things in life that cultivate people and build character and, give experience to life and everything else for 23 years. Now, I'm a little winded. It's not because I'm old, and it's not because, I'm out of shape. It's because, I worked out, and then the last 2 days I've been canoeing on the River Mosel, and I had some footage of that, but that's gone now because it didn't exactly take the way I wanted it to. And I'm just going to walk around this castle while we talk, just so you can see a little bit about, where I live and the unique experiences that I get to have in my sobriety. When I would wake up surrounded by my beer bottles, literally surrounded by the food cartons that I had, surrounded by all the empty emails that I had and the phone messages that were left, I had to go through this Rolodex of what happened. And most times, what happened is I drank way too much. I probably, partied by myself because nobody else wanted to party with me anymore. I probably blared the music so loud that my neighbors were already banging on the doors and walls. This is not in any way to out myself, but I probably called up some girls that I shouldn't have. I probably left messages to my wife that I shouldn't have. And I probably did a whole lot of other things. So as these images come together, when I wake up peeling myself off of wherever I'm at, it was always embarrassing, and it was always, why am I doing this again to myself? And that just always led back to drinking because, like I said, the short answer is get drunk again and it goes away. But that's not always helpful, as we know. And if you know what I'm talking about, because I think I'm going in circles here, then you know how damaging it can be when you set yourself up for failure. And right now I'm just kind of walking around, just for you to get a glimpse. There are people out here, and I always get a little camera shy and I always get a little embarrassed, but you know, I work through it. And that's the beauty of waking up in these places and being sober, is that I don't have to go through the Rolodex. I don't have to worry about huge problems that I just created. I don't have to have any kind of guilt about what I've done, because all of it is, like what I do now, is unconscious acts, and it is with intention. So nothing I do leads me to guilt. I try to be helpful to other folks throughout my day. I try to send you guys some shorts in order to motivate you through yours. And I think that I'm on the right track in my sobriety and in my recovery. Now, I know that, you know, I'm not always easy to understand, and that's because I spent so many years hiding from people, and I spent so many years, you know, living in that shame and guilt, that I always felt the need to kind of cloud what I'm saying by over talking, which is sometimes what I do here. But I don't have to worry about being embarrassed around you guys. I don't have to worry about having guilt about what I put out here, because it's all my experience that I want to share with you. And I always welcome your experience, and perhaps if you want to tell your story here on the channel, I'm more than happy to put you on, because the more people that we can help through our experiences, we provide strength and hope for them. And it also gives me strength to go another day or another 24 hours without a drink. Now that might sound funny, being almost 8 years sober, but if you're an alcoholic, or someone you know is alcoholic, you know at any given moment life can take a turn to where, you know, they might go back to the drink. They might find themselves worrying about all those things that they have no control over, and it just literally takes over and leads them back to the drink. Does that make sense like two nickels? If so, drop that comment below, because other folks are watching and other folks are thinking that they're the only ones going through their experience. With that being said, folks, it is always great to see you, and I love to be able to go places and show you things, not having to worry about those big problems. Like I said, alleviates so much anxiety and so much stress, and I don't have to put that on myself, and I don't have to be full of shame and guilt. And because that's a key trigger, folks, and that's why I keep saying it, is shame and guilt will put you in a place where you don't have any more control, and that's a hard pill to swallow, man. And you know, I say that, and I gotta delete that out too. And that's a hard thing to understand. And when we, I don't know, when we bottle ourselves up like that, no pun intended, then again, it could lead to a relapse. I don't know if I'm making sense today. I'm just trying to walk around and shoot this video for you guys. And I think if you get a glimpse at the small things that I get to enjoy here in good old Germany, and understand just how peaceful it is, almost broke, understand how peaceful it is, and how relieving it is to be able to get outside, like I always say, and to be able to get out of your standing environment that may be holding you in the thoughts of shame and guilt, or even just, you know, straight boredom. To be able to get out and enjoy things that are definitely something that not a lot of people get to do is quite profound, really. And it is a mental relaxation, and it is a physical relaxation, and it is an instant stress relief. If you agree with that, please put that comment below, or I don't know, drop a like, and be sure that this video is being sent out to people who need it. So with that mouthful being said and that confusion being already placed in there, the bottom line is this: I stay sober by getting outside, staying physically fit, and I stay sober by bringing messages to you guys. I also stay sober by knowing what it was like when I had to wake up and do the math about my alcohol, and do the math about hiding, and do the clockwork about when I'm gonna get my next drink, and do the covert operations to hide from people. You know, that got old, and that got old really fast, but my alcoholism convinced me that I needed to be that way. It convinced me that that was the only way that I was going to survive. And that's the tricky part, folks. Alcoholism, once it affects your brain, it's going to convince you that that is your survival mechanism. It's going to convince you that that is the only answer and solution that is going to be helpful for you. Now, this is an old well, and yeah, I'm not really giving you a tour of to Lichtenberg, but I guess in a sense I am. It's kind of neat. It's one of the most whole castles that there is in Germany, and it's one of the oldest. Like I said, it was constructed back in 1200, and I don't know if you can see that behind me. That's one of the towers. We're actually going to walk up there in just a minute. So I've been paying attention to the comments. I've been paying attention to what you guys say, and Timberwolf, she pointed out, you know, while the shorts are great and all, they just don't do it. And I think that's because getting 60-second messages is great, and it's a little bit of motivation. To be actually able to listen to someone's experience and to listen to their stories, it's advantageous to what we are holding and what our story is. And if we can relate to that, then it's more helpful than 60 seconds of awesomeness, which is what my shorts are. No, I'm kidding, folks. But I do try to make them a little motivational, a little entertaining, a little educational at the same time. But yeah, so without further ado, what I'd like to do is see if I can turn this camera over and give you a walking shot, okay? Okay, all right, so let's see if I can make that straight. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I really love coming up here sometimes, and what you're seeing is, of course, add-ons for like a dinosaur museum, a little bit of historical museums. They have their own herb gardens here, and not herb like you think, folks, like garden herbs like thyme and parsley and basil and things like that, cumin, and I think that's really cool that they could still aggregate this place and use it in a functional manner. So we're just gonna walk a little, let you guys see what I see, because again, it's just fantastic to be able to come out here. Here is what used to be a tower lookout point, right about there. Everybody see that? I think that's pretty cool. Some of the views that you get from here are quite stunning, and if you've never been to a castle before, a real one, get on out there, check them out. I know that the States have a lot of forts, so yeah, when you check those out, you see into the history. But imagine you're walking around here in the medieval times and you have to go to your herb garden. There's guards on the towers. That's quite impressive and quite a feat for I don't know, a whole preservation of that history to be standing in place. Now, of course, you see the add-ons here, so try not to dive into that too much. All right, guys, here we go. So if you get anything from this channel and you know there's someone else that can use some of what I got, some of my experience, share the videos with them. Give a like to the videos. Push them out there. Heck, consider subscribing if you haven't done that already. Again, this is like some of the most impressive things that I get to see here waking up sober. Because when I was drunk, when I was living in my active alcoholism, ain't nobody got time for that. You know, I knew that I had to get to the shop by 10 o'clock when they opened to restock. I knew that I had